Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on this journey of growth. How are you doing? How is everyone? Give me 1 minute. Okay, how is everyone doing? How's your day going so far? If you are in Nigeria, it's 1 p.m. How is your day going so far? How is everything with you? How was your weekend? Yeah. Um, Welcome to Growth Habits once again. My name is Ngozi Onwocholoba. I am your personal guide on this journey of growth. We are journeying together and we have been making some real good progress. We have been making some real good progress, I can tell you. Well, yeah, because like I always say, I do go on the journey with you. I don't just say, this is the way. I'm on that road with you. I'm on that road with you. So I know um, how it is. I know when it is difficult, I am there with you. Let me just confirm that I can be heard. Okay, yes. At least we're live on Facebook. We're live on Instagram. Let me also confirm that the volume is okay there. Okay, we're live on Instagram. Okay, let me just check on LinkedIn. Okay, we're live on LinkedIn and let me confirm YouTube. All right, we are live on YouTube. So we are live everywhere we need to be live. Please do join me this glorious day and let me know when you join me. Um, just say hi, say hello, so that I will know that you are there. So yeah, welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi once again. As I said, I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. I go on the journey with you. That is why I'm a growth mentor, not just a coach. If what you need is coaching, I do coach. I coach. If what you need is just coaching, telling you, what should be done, how it should be done, and then allowing you to walk that walk. I can do that. Just like we know in football, the coach does not play. He may have been a player before, so he has experience. He may have been, or he has studied the game of football and he knows the ins and outs, the tactics, everything. And he can impart that into you as your coach. But the coach does not go and play that 90 minutes. He does not. So if that's what you need, awesome. I am there for you. But you need to be mentored where as you're journeying, I'm also journeying. I'm not just telling you stories, I'm telling you what I have tested. I'm telling you what I have seen. I'm sharing with you from my experience. And most of the things, I can't say all. If I say all, I will not be telling you the truth. Most of the things we're talking about, as we're talking about it, I am doing them. Like as if I say all, I wouldn't be very truthful. So that is why I'm a mentor. I go the journey with you. I don't just give you a plan. The plan I'm giving to you, I myself am going through something similar. Might not be exactly the same because, of course, we're not the same. For example, at the end of each of our sessions, I tell us, do something. I give you an assignment of sorts. I say, this is, you should do this for the next 7 days. I actually pick one of those activities, one of those actions, and I apply it also for the 7 days so that I can truly say, yes, this works, or no, this does not work. So yeah, so and last week we had a session, and one of the things I decided to take away from last week was um I decided to pick a boundary, actually. I decided to pick a boundary that would protect my momentum in the week. That was what I decided to do last week. And the boundary that I picked was not responding immediately to non-urgent requests, requests that are, not absolutely life or death. That was the boundary I chose to implement last week. And because I needed to protect my momentum. So, um, and this especially if I'm tired, because I don't know whether you all make very good decisions when you're tired. When I'm tired, I'm irritable, there's a lot of things. So I decided to not respond immediately to non-urgent requests last week. Anything that I sense that, look, this is not really, it must not happen now, I would delay reaction. I would delay response. That is what I did last week. And I found that doing that protected my energy, the little energy I had at that time. I could protect it. When I now came to react to that, when I now came to respond, I had more clarity. I was not acting out of emotions or anything. I had more clarity and I could really, really respond better. And it meant that, of course, I always paused in those times before responding to anything. I would take a minute, pause. It means I would consider where my heart, my mind is at the moment before saying yes, no, whatever it is that I needed to respond to. It also allowed me to be able to respond later and I wasn't feeling guilty. You know that thing that happens when you put off responding to someone, you kind of start feeling guilty about it. You start feeling, maybe I should have responded earlier. How would this person see it? I didn't have any of that because this was an intentional decision. I chose to delay these responses so that I could respond better. Since they were not absolutely urgent, it means that they could be delayed. And so that is what I was able to do. Now, I was not able to do it every single day, but at least I practiced it for the majority of last week. Um, I never, I did not respond to anything out of, you know, emotions. Let me use that expression. I would sit with whatever it is I wanted to respond, and so that I could respond with more clarity. So that was what I chose to work on last week. This is why I say I'm a mentor, not just a coach. Because how do I explain to you that it works when you take a pause when I have not experienced it myself, when I have not practiced it myself? So yes, that was the action I took from last week's session. I actually took a pause before responding so that I can protect my energy, so that I can respond better, so I can set good boundaries around my energy, so that I can maintain the momentum of the things I'm doing, the things that I'm achieving or not achieving, whichever way. But I set up that, and it really helped me, I have to tell you, because really I found that I've always known that. I think I did a series sometime about the power of the pause. It is such a powerful thing, the pause, just to stop, think, then react. Even in the most heated of arguments. Has it happened to you that when you have an argument with someone, then later on you remember all the things you should have said? You see, yeah, because now you have had time to think, you have paused. But when you apply that pause right at the heat of that moment, those things in quote you should have said would have come to you. So not the bad ones, please. I'm talking about reasonable, sensible things to say, because sometimes it's the bad things you could have said, the insults you could have released on the person that comes to you. That later on, but that's not what I'm talking about. So that is what I was able to do this last week. All right, so let's go right into today's session. The topic today is building momentum through small wins. That is the topic that we are dealing with today, building momentum through small wins. And I'm just going to do a quick recap of what we've done so far in this month of January. Um, this is the last session in this month. Yay. People say this January was actually quite fast. I have to say, it wasn't as slow as most Januaries for me. I don't know for another person. So we've been talking about generally rebuilding our momentum in this month. That is what our basic topic, the theme for the month of January was rebuilding our momentum, because we all know it's so easy to lose momentum in January, especially when January is very long. But we've looked at ways to rebuild that momentum in this month. The first session was why motivation fails and what actually drives progress. We looked at how to, well, we agreed that momentum is not what sustains growth, because momentum can shift, it can wane, it can increase, it can reduce. Yeah. So we looked at the fact that momentum is, of course, emotional, it's temporary, it's systems that will help you, it's the structures that you put in place, it's your identity, knowing who you are, that can help you move forward, not necessarily momentum. Yeah. Then in our second session, the habit of showing up when you feel behind. That was our second session. And we addressed, the fact that we can feel that we are behind. The disruptions happen in life. They're almost a normal part of life, that disruptions might happen. Life is not following the plans that we have put in place. Things are not happening the way we expect. It is normal. It's a normal part of life. But we don't have to feel shame because we are a little bit behind, and then begin to withdraw from life, from whatever it is we are doing. We said that you can be consistent, you can return imperfectly instead of join back completely. So that was our second session. Our third session, we talked about managing energy, not time. And time management is very much needed. We must learn how to manage our time, but we also at the same time have to learn how to manage our energy, because burnout is really a time problem. Burnout that we experience is an energy problem. It's not because we didn't have enough time. We all have 24 hours, really. And it's not even because sometimes that we didn't manage the 24 hours we have well. Many a times because we didn't take note of our energy stores. We didn't take note of our energy. What's the word I'm looking for? The English word is failing me. Stockpile. We did not take note of it, and we did not manage our energies. We did not put in boundaries where we needed to. We did not rest when we needed to. We just kept blowing through our energy until it was depleted, and then we are burnt out. So that was what we looked at the last session. So today we arrive at an important question that we all need to really ask ourselves. If motivation isn't enough, and perfection isn't required, and we know our energy is finite, you cannot have energy forever, it's finite. If all this is true, how do we now rebuild momentum in real life? How do we really do it? How do we really sustain and rebuild and sustain momentum in our lives, in our activities, in real life? What do we actually do to ensure that we sustain momentum? And for me, it's actually a very simple thing that helps us sustain momentum in real life. Knowing that motivation is not enough, knowing that perfection is not required. We're not looking for perfection. Perfection is not in the cards. Knowing that our energy stores are limited. We can't have infinite energy. Energy will wane at some point. Simple answer to how we can rebuild our momentum and sustain our momentum is through small wins. Small wins. Yeah, it sounds, well, I say overly simple, but it is really true. It's true. And it is, well, I say workable. Small wins are so important. And it's not just that the small wins exist, it's recognizing them and even celebrating them where necessary. Because that will definitely, when you do one small thing and you do it well, there's this um shot of energy that comes to you. And you now feel, okay, if I could do this, I can do the next one. And you keep going like that. So that is how but that is the power of small wins. That is how it works, that is how it functions, that is how it helps us maintain our momentum. So as is our usual way, I'm going to mention some studies that I found, because I always believe that it's not enough to just talk. It's not enough for me to just tell you what I think. It's not enough for me to even just tell you what I experienced. I have to show you that these things are tested scientifically. They are proven facts by someone else that is not me. So there is a research done by I'm trying to look for her name on my notes. Yes, Teresa. I think it's Amabil. Please forgive me for mispronouncing that name. From Harvard Business School. She carried out a research. She's an organizational psychologist. She carried out a research, and that research shows that small wins are one of the most powerful drivers of motivation, one of the most powerful drivers of engagement and of progress for people. The study that she did, showed that when you experience small progress, it boosts your confidence. When you experience this small progress, creates positive emotional momentum. And then the brain responds more consistently to small, frequent success than large, distant goals. So you see that it's essential that we recognize and celebrate our small wins, because yes, your confidence will always be boosted when you see that you did this one well. Your confidence will be on a high, and you begin to you want to do more. It's just a natural occurrence for me, actually. You will want to do more. Even the Bible tells us that whoever is faithful in little will be faithful in much. So when you show faithfulness in little things, you are gingered to do more. There is this hype in your spirit now because I've achieved this, I've done this, I've accomplished this, to want to do the next. So growth compounds. It compounds. Rarely does growth explode. Rarely. Growth compounds. So the little wins compound. You did well here. You transfer that to the next one, you do well there, and it just keeps compounding. And you have more energy to keep going because you're seeing that you're winning. You're seeing that you're winning. You're seeing that you're doing well. So growth compounds. Coach Ify, I see you on Instagram. Yes, let me just chip in this here quickly since that I've seen Coach Ify. She's launching her book today. I hope I can be part of that. I really hope so. We have some appointments today where I am, but I will try, even if it's just to join in for a few minutes. So she's launching her book, The Double Woman. Let me not say the name wrong. Let me not say the name wrong. Yes, the double woman theory. Yeah, so I was right. That's what I wanted to say, but just let me be sure. The double woman theory. She wrote this book, and she's launching it today. Um, Is on Zoom. Yes, it's on Zoom. Coach, if you can share the link for the book so that people can purchase it, the Amazon link, and also the Zoom so that people can join that session. Please join that session. Um, She said it's also available for purchase in Nigeria. So please just share all the information on Instagram so that people can be part of the launch. They can purchase the book and read it. I was privileged to have an advanced view of this book, and you need to have it. You really need to have it. So, yes, I just had to chip that in there before I forget. Um, all right, so just give me a minute. Okay, so okay, yes, yes, I wrote a forward to the book. So, but do get the book, get it. It is worth every minute of it. Is worth reading. So get the book and do join the Zoom link. She has posted everything. Join the Zoom and um, be part of that launch. I will try everything to be there. I will try. I will try. All right, so I was talking about the study that I saw done by Teresa from Harvard Business School and the things that that study revealed. It is, and I was saying that growth is compounded. Growth rarely explodes. Rarely. Growth is compounded. Precept upon precept, line upon line, even as the Bible says, that is how growth happens. Rarely do you see somebody just wake up and it's grown. When you plant a tree, you don't wake up and you see a tree. So growth is compounded step by step. Doing the little things that are needed to be done, celebrating the little wins will get you to that place you're trying to go. Then I also saw that there was a neurological study. It shows that small wins trigger dopamine release in our body. And that's the fact of also the small wins also reinforce the behavior and increase the likelihood of repetition. Remember, we talked about the habit loop last year. Yes, we talked about that habit loop sometime. So, big goals, when you have huge goals, it can overwhelm your brain. It can overwhelm your brain. But small wins, small that is breaking down your big goals to small goals that are more achievable, and then you achieve them. It signals to your brain that this is doable, first of all, because it's small. This is safe. And then as you achieve it, it tells your brain, this is doable. I can do this again. If I did it yesterday, I can do it again. So you see that it builds momentum, it builds your confidence, and you begin to achieve more without even, sometimes you don't realize how much until you go back and check, because they look so small. They look so tiny. They don't look like so much. When you now go back and look at it, you will see that you have achieved so much over such a period of time. So, small beginnings it's not any sign of weakness. So, it's actually a strategy. It's a strategy for growth. All right. So, given that we're talking about this small wins and how it helps you build momentum. Let me just share this ideas with us on small wins. When we are talking about small wins, we need to ensure some things about the goals or the targets that we are setting. One is that they have to be simple. They have to be simple. It has to be something that's easy for you to start. It has to be something that is not complicated, that does not feel heavy, does not feel intimidating. That's why, like, for example, if I have a major goal to achieve, first, let's assume I have 1 year to achieve this goal. I break it down first to what do I have achieved? Do I have to achieve every month? I start from that. Once I have broken it down to what do I have to achieve every month, I go ahead and take the monthly goal and break it down to what do I have to achieve every week. In order to meet that my monthly goal, what do I have to achieve every week? I take up the weekly goals I have now set and break it down to what do I have to achieve each day. Now, what do I have to achieve each day is smaller. So I start there. Sometimes, not all the time, sometimes I take up my daily goals and I break it down to what do I have to achieve every hour. Especially when I was working, I did this a lot. I would sit down when I get to work because I always go to work like at least many times an hour before work is supposed to start. Many times. Because I don't like being late. I don't like meeting traffic and all those things. So to avoid it, I leave early, arrive early, and I have time to sit down and look at what I have to achieve that day. Break it down to over the course of this 8 hours I'm going to be in the office. What do I have to do each hour? In order to ensure that by the end of the day, all the things that I have to do, I've done them. So I break it down to hourly targets. Now it's so easy to achieve the hourly target because most times they are not grievous, they are not much. That's why we need to keep it simple, keep it uncomplicated, keep it simple, keep it uncomplicated. Don't over complicate things because if that goal is intimidating, you can't call it small and you will not find it easy to achieve. So what you would ask yourself in this situation is what is the simplest version of this habit or this goal that I'm trying to achieve? What is the simplest version of it? Once you can find that simplest version, face that simple version. This is one way to ensure that our small wins are really wins, that we're really achieving targets. The next thing is to ensure that that goal, that habit, that target you're setting is something meaningful. Ensure that it's something meaningful. We're not talking about small wins or small targets or small goals. We don't mean insignificant. We're not saying they're insignificant. They are meaningful. Their size has been reduced. The size is all we are reducing. Just like I said, from yearly goal to monthly goal, from monthly goal to weekly goals, from weekly goals to daily goals. So we have not made them insignificant. So ensure that they are still meaningful. Don't make your goals now insignificant because you're trying to make them small. The smallness we're talking about here is not smallness in significance. Georgeline Durus Okoli, I am Kachi. I see you on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining me. It's not, we're not talking about insignificance. The goal still has to be meaningful. This goal that is now small still has to be meaningful. Still has to be meaningful. So one question that you can ask yourself when you're looking at the broken down targets you're setting, the small goals you're fixing for yourself, you're breaking down the big goals, the big targets to smaller, more manageable bits. You should ask yourself, does this small action now that I'm looking at, does it reinforce who I am? Does it reinforce my identity? Remember that we have been very particular about identity as we have been talking in this series. If you really do need to know who you are, you need to know your purpose, you need to know why you're on this earth, and your habits, your goals have to align to those targets. If they don't align, if they don't align, that is when they become difficult to achieve. So this small goal now that we are trying to break our major goals into has to remain meaningful. Remember, simple has to be simple, has to remain meaningful, has to be attached to that purpose that we are trying to achieve. Then we need to ensure that that small goal is achievable. because that win we are trying to get has to be winnable. It has to be winnable. Even when we are like exhausted, when we are tired, it still has to be winnable. So you have to ensure that this goal is still achievable. So you have to ensure that it's achievable. Then another thing that you need to do about this small target, this small goal, this small win you're trying to gain or trying to get is you have to make sure that it is acknowledged. You have to make sure that it is recognized mentally, verbally, in writing, whatever. That's why I say celebrate your small wins. Log it, put it down somewhere so that, because see now, like I was telling us, most times we don't realize how much progress we have made when we break our tasks down to small, small bits until we look at. So if you don't log it somewhere, if you don't put it down somewhere, if you don't recognize it, if you don't um, write it or something somewhere, you won't be able to see, you won't be able to recognize how much progress you have made. So log it. Ensure that that small target, small habit, small system, small goal, whatever we want to call it, ensure that it is acknowledged, ensure that it is recognized, have it written down somewhere. I prefer writing down. Some people can keep in their minds, in their head, but for me, it has to be written down somewhere. But acknowledge it mentally, acknowledge it verbally, say it out, and also put it down somewhere. Ask yourself. One way to do this is to ask yourself if am I counting my progress or am I just dismissing it? Am I counting my progress or am I just dismissing my progress? For small wins to help you maintain momentum, you have to count it. You have to keep record of it. That is how it will help you maintain momentum because you will now see how far you have gone. You will see what you have achieved. And the last thing I want to say is that you need to ensure that these small wins, these small targets, these small goals, that they are linked. You have to ensure that they are linked. Um, for you to maintain momentum, the wins have to be like in a sequence, they have to be they have to be linked. I'm trying to look for another word. They have to be linked. There has to be a connection so that when you see that, oh, I did this, I did this, I did this, that is when it builds your momentum. So this one is not just to log it, but it has to be linked, connected. That's why, like when you have a big goal, you break it down. And in breaking it down, ensure that as you're bringing it down to maybe daily targets, daily goals, there is a link between the first to the second to the third to the fourth. There is a link. It's all connected. That if it's not connected, the disconnection can make you feel that, I didn't really achieve much. That connection helps you see the whole picture. Helps you see the whole picture. Okay, I don't know why. Sorry, my phone is doing something that I don't understand. It keeps I don't know whether it's Google something, keeps trying to, will I say, listen to what I'm saying. I don't even know how to explain it, but it keeps opening this dialogue of what I'm trying to say or so. I don't understand why it's doing it. It's just, I'm not touching the phone, but each time that dialogue pops up. Anyway, all right. So, um, yeah, I was talking about link. So if you looked at the things I talked about now in this helping to build momentum with that small win, it is what I call my small wins framework. SMALL, small wins framework. S, keep it simple. M, make sure it's meaningful. A, make sure it's achievable. L, keep it logged. And link it. Ensure that there's links between this small goals that you're setting and ensure that they are linked. Okay, so what do I do practically now? I mean, I've given us a framework what we can look at in setting these goals, but what can I do day by day to ensure that my momentum is going, to ensure that I'm experiencing small wins and keeping the momentum going? Because it's also possible that you're experiencing the small wins, but you're not turning it into momentum. You're not using it to fire yourself on to move forward. Each day, this is what I do anyway. Each day, aim for one win. You may have hundreds, but at least aim for one. You know, I don't even know if I like this expression, so I will not use it. But each day, aim for one small win. Ensure that that one win is well within your capacity to do. And also ensure that that one win that you're aiming for is something that is worth repeating. Once again, this goes back to ensuring that our habits, our goals, our targets are linked to our purpose. If they are not linked to our purpose, we will find it difficult to even appreciate the little wins that we're having. So ensure that it's linked to your purpose, ensure that it's linked to your capabilities, your abilities. And another thing I do is that when I am planning my goals, when I'm breaking them down to daily or hourly targets, I try to ensure that I start my day at the beginning. One of the first things that I will do is something that is very doable, something that will give me, that early morning adrenaline pump. So I ensure that I win early. I ensure that I win early. I ensure that I start my day with something doable. I never give myself those because there will be some hard tasks in the day. I don't start with them. Not because um, not because they're hard, but because they will take me more time, first of all. So I start with something that is easier, something that is more doable. Let me not even say easier, something that is more doable. I always begin my day with that. The adrenaline rush from achieving that first initial action carries on to the next one, carries on to the next one. So I try to win early. It doesn't always work. Get this now. Let me not even make it look like it doesn't always work. Sometimes the early win doesn't come, but at least let me start with it. Let me attempt to have the early win. And most times when you get that early win, you keep going. And you now begin to get the compounded effect of small wins. As much as possible, also, as much as possible, that early, um, that small task, that small target, that small whatever, that win that you're trying to achieve, attach it to something that is already existing. We talked about this when we looked at the habit loop. Find a way to attach this new habit you're trying to form, this new goal you're trying to achieve. Find a way to attach it to something that's already existing. No, we talked about brushing your teeth and then adding maybe listening to your Bible to when you brush your teeth, because definitely you're going to brush your teeth. There is no way you're not going to brush your teeth. You understand? So attach it to something existing. And then when it happens, name it, name it, name it. Say it out loud. I achieved this. Write it down somewhere. No, we talked about this when we talked about logging. Write it down somewhere. It When we don't write down our small wins, honestly, we begin to think we have not done anything because they look so, at times, insignificant. But when you write them down and then you later go over it, you will see that you have achieved a lot. You will be shocked at how much you have been able to achieve. You'll be shocked at how much you have been able to do in the little time. So log your small wins, celebrate them. Don't let anybody tell you that this is too small or this is insignificant. Don't even let anybody tell you that. Significance is up to you, really. So ensure that you log your wins, name your wins, celebrate those small wins. It helps you build momentum. It helps you build momentum. Okay, so I hope I've helped us today to see that one of the best ways to build momentum and to sustain it is by celebrating your small wins. Well, first of all, having smaller targets, breaking down your big goals to smaller targets, and then celebrating them as you achieve them. Recognizing the small wins as you achieve them. Daniel, I see you on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. It is, I don't even know how to explain this because it has happened to me severally. When I have each time, anyway, I've gotten so used to when I have a big target, I look for how to break it down to smaller targets. I don't know how to tackle large goals anymore without breaking them down. So I always break them down to monthly, weekly, daily targets. Um, One of my mentees right now is reading a book. So I asked her, how do you intend to read this whole book? And I don't know whether, it was like, I said, yes, I need you to tell me how many chapters you intend to read each day, how many chapters you intend to cover each day. How long do you intend to spend on reading this book? Many times we don't consider that we give up on a lot of actions. We give up on a lot of maybe habits we're trying to form because we didn't break them down like this. So always break down your goals into smaller, achievable bits. But remember that those bits must be simple. Don't complicate it. Don't complicate it. They must be meaningful. They must be achievable. They must be logged. And they must be linked. Ensure that you do that. In closing, yeah, because I said I would close early today because, like I said, I have a lot of appointments today. So, in closing, we should ask ourselves these questions. Where have I been waiting for a big breakthrough? Where have I been waiting for a big, will I say, big celebration of activity instead of honoring the small progress that I have made? In what areas have I done that? Then we need to also ask ourselves, what small wins can I repeat daily this week? What small actions, small activities can I repeat daily this week? And how will I acknowledge this progress instead of dismissing it? Because it's so easy to dismiss the small, it's so easy. Until I started writing down my small wins, I didn't realize their how much they were. I didn't. Because they looked so insignificant. They didn't look like any big deal. Oh, okay. They didn't look like any big deal. But when I began to write them down, I could now see that, oh, okay, this is this is a lot. I've achieved this, I've achieved this, I've achieved this. So it's so important to acknowledge them. It's so important to log them, write them down, keep a track of your small wins. So, which one are you going to do this week? Are you going to acknowledge your progress instead of dismissing them? Are you going to ensure that you're repeating small, wins, actions, small actions that, got you or made you some progress. Are you going to ensure you're going to be repeating them this week? Or are you going to begin to break down your large targets, your large goals to smaller, more manageable bits? Which one are you going to do this week? Which one are you committing to? I don't know the one I'm committing to yet now, but I'll let you know by next week. I'll let you know by next week. So this brings this series on be rebuilding momentum to a close. In the month of February, we will begin another series. We're going to be talking about inner strength. We're going to be talking about inner strength um, this coming month of February. We have looked at how to sustain or how to maintain our momentum. We're going to look at how to build the inner strength needed because, see, all these things we say, if you don't have the inner strength to deal with it, it's almost, I don't want to say it's of no use, but becomes less useful when you don't have the inner strength required. Okay, let me just look at some comments. Okay. Okay, Daniel, yes, thank you for the insightful and powerful session. Thank you for joining. Uzo Koli says, breaking targets into smaller doable goals will help keep me motivated. Yes, it definitely will. It definitely will. I mean, because I have seen it play out in my life so many times. It will get you motivated and keep you motivated because you'll be like, oh, I did this. If I did this, I can do the next one. So yes. um I see you, Ogochukwu, on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. I see people on Facebook, but once again, unless you comment, I can't see who you are on Facebook. But on Instagram, I see when people join and I can acknowledge them. Even on YouTube, I can't see who has joined. So that is it for this session of Growth Habits Within God. And this is it for our series on rebuilding momentum. I hope it's been helpful to us, the things that we discussed. I hope that it's something that we found value. We have seen that momentum is not necessarily rebuilt by speed. It's actually, you have to take time to rebuild it. It's rebuilt by faithful, consistent, small obedience over time. It's not always, big. We also saw that growth is not always explosive, does not always explode. It is compounded. It's compounded. So thank you once again for joining me in this session and in this series on rebuilding momentum. And hope to see you in our next session. We have restarted our momentum and we're going to build wisely. I'm sure we're going to build wisely upon that. Don't forget to make today and every day count. Be valuable always and ensure that you are growing daily. Remember, growth is compounded. It's compounded. The small wins compound to the big win that we are trying to achieve. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Growth Habits with Ngozi, especially our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that channel. All the past sessions are there. We know that Facebook deletes after a while. Even this streaming software I use deletes after a while, but on YouTube is there. So Growth Habits with Ngozi on YouTube. Subscribe, watch the sessions, comment. I will respond to the comments as I see them. Thank you all so much for joining me this beautiful day. See you all next week. Okay, no, I will not see you next week, Tuesday. I will not see you next week, Tuesday. I'll see you the upper Tuesday. Yes, thank you so much once again, and do have an awesome, awesome day. Bye.